Hey folks, Rich here at RCINFORMER.com. Thanks for checking out this video on the Sky Surfer Pro from Banana Hobby. You can check this airplane out at bananahobby.com. The plane is plugged in pretty much and ready to go, but I wanted to show it to you guys in this format because it really has a nice system for breaking it down. Now when you get the airplane, it pretty much comes like this. You do have to connect some of the linkages, but for the most part it comes included with a 1300 kV brushless outrunner, 50 amp speed controller, a separate BEC, which is nice, and 6 servos, ailerons, flaps, elevator, and rudder. And it really is a nice transportable airplane. Now, one of the nicest features that they included in this airplane is these little your servo connector wires. Normally you have to connect the wires, feed the wires through, but they put the female ends in this little retainer, and they put the male ends in this little retainer. So all you have to do really is just plug your spars right into place, and you just literally just plug your wing in like this, and your servos for your flaps and your aileron automatically plug in. You do the same thing here with the other wing. It simply just plugs right in, and then there's a ratcheting mechanism that when you push them together, they lock into place, and that keeps them in place, so no screws or anything. Now, to get this off, it's a good idea to put it under your arm, just pull them apart, and if you zoom in right here, Pete, you can see these little ratcheting mechanisms are the things that lock the wing into place. And again, it's really that simple. It's just a nice design. I've been flying this thing for weeks like this, and it really works quite well. Now, the elevator pretty much is just the same way. It just plugs into position. You just kind of line it up here, push it into place, and you take this little plastic retainer here. Same thing, it has a ratchet mechanism that just locks the whole tail into place. And then the last thing I'm going to have Pete zoom in on is the little easy connector right here. It disconnects, and all you have to do is sort of just pop it into place. You want to be careful not to break it. I'm going to very carefully do my best to pop it in there. That's one of the more challenging things to do. But once it's in there, Pete, can you zoom in on that? And that locks it in place. You can see how my elevator moves now. And that's it, guys. This plane is pretty much ready to fly just the way you see it. Now, one recommendation I have for this plane, guys, I usually do a building guide, but this is the kind of airplane that doesn't need one. It just literally goes together just the way you see it without any glue. But there was an O-ring wrapped around this prop to fold the prop back. And what I found was that O-ring would get out of balance as it would spin, and the O-ring would just sort of fly off. So what I did is it's a good idea just to remove the O-ring. You don't need it as you're flying, and the relative wind, as you turn the throttle off, the prop will fold back on its own. I found that what happened with mine is my O-ring broke off, and it actually hit my tail and kind of scraped up my tail a little bit there. But that's the only really recommendation I have for this airplane is to just take that O-ring off, and you'll be good to go. Anyway, guys, other features on this airplane that are really nice. There's skids all over it. One here. This acts as a skid as well. There's covers for these little aerodynamic fairings for your ailerons and your flap servos. And also there's little locking mechanisms that are kind of neat. So you can lock your ailerons if you want a plane to operate without ailerons, just rudder and elevator. And you can lock your flaps down if you don't want flaps, and you know, just fly the airplane without flaps. Another really neat feature this plane has, it has very good cooling port here, cooling port here, cooling port right here. And to access your servos, there's these very neat little panels that you can stick your finger in, and you can see this little hatch cover will come off on both sides to access your elevator and your rudder servo. So it's a really neat design, this form-fitted foam, and how everything plugs into place. Anyway, guys, that's enough talking. You've seen the Sky Surfer Pro. Let's go ahead and take it up in the air. Pete's gonna follow me, and he'll record the action. All right, guys, it's a little bit windy today, but the Sky Surfer Pro can handle it. This plane is really good for anybody that's a beginner or somebody that really wants something like a camera plane that they can fly around and get some smooth video with. As you can see, it's really just a stable airplane. Even in the wind, it's nice and smooth. As I head back to the downwind, I'm going to give you a roll here. This is full aileron. And you can see how slow it rolls. So it's really not meant to do aerobatics with, but it will do just about most of the maneuvers that you'll want it to do. Now, as far as loops go, it does loops really easily. It has outstanding pitch control. Just keep in mind that the roll on this airplane is very slow. That's full aileron there, and you can see how it rolls slowly. But again, guys, this plane was meant to be a really more of a trainer and a smooth camera platform. You can mount probably just about any camera on this thing that you would want. It's also intended as really just sort of a gliding airplane. I'll bring it back to throttle off here, guys. And you can see it's just silent and how nicely it glides without flaps. It just floats and floats and floats. You just go for a long, long time. Touch and go. All right. So really, guys, it's just sort of a fun, sort of beginner camera type platform that's just really easy to fly. My hands are actually off the controls right now, and it's just sort of gliding. Go ahead and I'll bring it back to final here again. I'll roll it upside down. Just to say we flew it upside down. It flies well upside down, you just got to be cautious of that slow roll that it does. All right, I'll bring it back again. Really outstanding flying airplane, guys. Roll it back around. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to roll into some steep turns out front. This plane does steep turns really nicely. Also, this is a 4-cell airplane. I'm flying it on a 4S 2200 Pete Signature Series pack from Banana Hobby, and it seems to do a really good job flying this thing. You can see how tight this thing will do steep turns. And I'll depart to the north. Watching that slow roll. Bring it back for a high-speed pass. Now I'm going to bring it around and show you a zero flap landing again. You saw that touch and go I just sort of did with it. And it just floats and floats and floats, guys. We'll go around again. Now I'm going to show you what it does with full flaps, guys. We're going to go ahead and bring it on in. I'm going to go ahead and set full flaps in and bring the power to idle. Now it does have a pitch up, so you might want to program in a little bit of down elevator, but you can see how it really, really slows down with those flaps. The flaps are just awesome for landing this thing. You almost need them if you have a short runway to land on, but you can see I'm actually carrying power now to get this plane on the ground with full flaps. So the flaps are just a tremendous, tremendous benefit to this plane to get it down on the ground. All right, guys, flaps are coming up. This is, once again, guys, the Sky Surfer Pro from Banana Hobby. You can check this out at bananahobby.com. It really, guys, it is an outstanding flying airplane. It just floats nice. It's great for a beginner, and it would make an outstanding camera platform. Anyway, guys, once again, I appreciate you watching this video. Thanks for checking out RC Informer, and we'll see you next time.